Latoya Ammons and her family claim to have endured a terrifying ordeal of demonic possession after moving into what would become known as the House of 200 Demons in 2011. That year, Latoya, her mother, and her 3 children relocated to a new rental home in Gary, Indiana. Almost immediately, they began experiencing a series of disturbing and inexplicable events. The family was first alarmed by an unusual swarm of black flies that appeared on their screened-in porch, despite the cold weather. Soon after, they started hearing mysterious footsteps, discovering wet footprints, and catching glimpses of a shadowy figure. Over the next 7 months, the Ammons children reportedly levitated above their beds, walked on the ceiling, and spoke in deep, unnatural voices. As the strange occurrences escalated, Latoya Ammons sought an exorcism, ultimately losing custody of her children and moving away from the house. While some remained skeptical of her claims, both religious and government officials acknowledged the unsettling nature of the demon house in Gary, Indiana. Now let's begin our story. In November 2011, Latoya Ammons, her mother Rosa Campbell, and her 3 children, aged 7, 9, and 12, moved into a rental home at 3860 Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana. Shortly after moving in, the family began noticing odd occurrences. Despite the cold temperatures, large black flies infested their screened-in porch. No matter how many they killed, the flies always returned. They also began hearing unexplained footsteps late at night. Latoya Ammons and her mother often reported hearing movement from the basement, as if someone was walking up the stairs and into the kitchen. Even after locking the basement door, the eerie footsteps persisted. Things took a darker turn when Rosa Campbell woke one night to see a shadowy figure pacing in the living room. When she investigated, she found wet footprints where the figure had been. Despite these alarming events, the family tried to adjust to life in their new home, but the situation only worsened. 4 months after moving in, on March 10, 2012, the family gathered to mourn a loved one's passing. During this gathering, Latoya Ammons' 12-year-old daughter suddenly levitated above her bed. Terrified, the family prayed until the girl finally descended. After this chilling event, visiting family members fled the house, and Ammons and her mother resolved to seek help. Help, however, was hard to find. Most local churches dismissed their claims, though one suggested the presence of spirits and advised them to cleanse the house with bleach and ammonia, and to mark oil crosses on the doors and windows. 2 clairvoyants who visited the house claimed it was inhabited by 200 spirits and recommended that the family move. The malevolent forces in the house continued to torment the Ammons family. The children began speaking in low, menacing voices, making disturbing statements like, "It's time to die and I will kill you." Their eyes bulged and their mouths twisted into unnatural grins. Latoya Ammons herself began feeling lightheaded and warm, as if she were losing control of her body. She later described the experience as distinctly supernatural. Ammons also claimed that her youngest son often spoke to an unseen boy and was even thrown across the room by invisible forces. Her daughter, too, began hearing voices that warned her of impending death and that she would never see her family again. As the children's behavior grew increasingly erratic, they began missing a substantial amount of school, prompting the involvement of doctors and police. On April 19, 2012, Latoya Ammons took her children to their family doctor, Jeffrey Onyokwu. The doctor noted the children's disturbing behavior, including their deep voices and unsettling statements. "In 20 years, I've never heard anything like that," Onyokwu told the Indianapolis Star. "I was scared myself when I walked into the room." While examining the children, the medical staff witnessed terrifying signs of what seemed to be demonic possession. According to a report by the Department of Child Services, DCS, Latoya's youngest son was seen flying through the air and crashing into a wall without anyone touching him. He also reportedly walked up a wall and flipped over his grandmother. A nurse and a DCS caseworker were so frightened by these events that they ran from the room. Despite these alarming incidents, some people remained skeptical. Concerned for the children's safety, the DCS separated Latoya Ammons from her children, leaving her heartbroken. "We'd already been through so much and fought so hard for our lives," she told the Indianapolis Star. "We made it through together as a team, and they separated us." After the separation, the DCS invited the Hammond Police Department to conduct a walkthrough of the demon house. During their investigation, the officers experienced a number of bizarre occurrences, including radio malfunctions, capturing a white, smoky apparition on camera, and recording what seemed to be a ghostly voice saying, "Hey, During a later visit, they also observed a strange, oily substance dripping from the blinds. Meanwhile, local priest Michael Maginot became interested in the case and decided to investigate. After obtaining permission from a bishop, he performed a minor exorcism on Latoya Ammons in the presence of 2 police officers and a DCS case manager. The DCS case manager later described feeling as though someone was in the room with you, someone breathing down your neck. Maginot eventually performed 3 exorcisms on Latoya Ammons. After the 3rd exorcism, and after one of Maginot's associates burned a piece of paper with the demon's name on it, Ammons began to feel normal again. She and her mother moved back to Indianapolis, and in November 2012, Latoya regained custody of her children. The family was relieved to leave the memories of the demon house behind. The house was later purchased by paranormal investigator Zach Bagans, who demolished it in 2016 but kept pieces of its basement for his Las Vegas museum. For Latoya Ammons and her family, there is no desire to ever revisit the demon house or the land it once stood on. A movie was made based on the life of the Ammon family called The Deliverance, directed by Lee Daniels, and it has garnered mixed reviews since its release on Netflix on August 30th, 2024. The film has been praised for its strong performances, particularly by Andra Day and Glenn Close. However, some critics have found the movie's execution lacking, with comments on its underwhelming special effects and convoluted script. Despite the mixed critical reception, the film has sparked significant interest due to its chilling true story and the reputation of its director. It also has achieved the title of #1 movie on Netflix. Have you had a chance to watch it yet? If so, what did you think? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.